You may or may not know that I'm trained in forensic psychology, and I've learned to go back and find out that there's a link in every chain. And this took place on Mother's Day weekend, and that he left on Sunday to go to Denver to work on a job. Would you expect that to be part of that relationship, or him to take off and her to go riding a bicycle on Mother's Day?
No, it doesn't sound anywhere near normal to me. And like I said, the EVI information on his truck didn't line up, Phil. He said he saw her at 5 a.m. and he did not.
And how do you know that?
Testimony from an employee that he was rambling down the road, texting people at 4 in the morning, trying to get them to go to Broomfield.
So
can't be at home at 5.
And talking to somebody on the road at 4.
Right.
That is, so that the timeline doesn't add up at all.
No, not at all.
I mean, we was really upset that first night, but I was in Denver, so.
Oh, you were?
I didn't get here until 9 o'clock that night.
You were?
I didn't get here until 9 o'clock that night.
Why? 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 Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that intro.
Hey. That was the greatest.
Fellas?
That was the greatest intro ever, Dusty. Thank you so much for doing that, man.
My pleasure.
Yeah, no, I actually love that intro, man, that music. And it kind of reminds me of back in the day when we were little kids, when we would hear the music from Unsolved Mysteries. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was time for us to go to bed, man. Go to bed. Go to bed. And so we'd be laying in bed and we'd hear that music from Unsolved Mysteries and we'd be kind of like freaked out. So
yeah, it was almost like the music from like the horror movies, like Friday the 13th or something to us, because we were just like little kids. We didn't know the difference.
Yeah. No, dude, thank you for putting that all together, Dusty. Those intros are amazing. Chappy, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing real good. I appreciate you guys inviting me on again tonight.
Yeah, Chappy, we're going to have you stay on here with us instead of moderate tonight if you're okay with that. But no, it's good to see you guys, Dusty and Chappy. I really wish that our subscribers could hear the conversation that we had prior to coming on the air. You know, it was just amazing. And I want to tell everybody right from the get-go how much I love you, Chappy, how much I love you, Dusty, as my cousin, my first cousin, and as my brother. You guys are amazing. And I couldn't think of two greater people that I would want to be in this endeavor with than you guys, man. I wanted to get that put on the record here. I'm so grateful to be doing this with you guys. Thank you so much for all that you guys do for this channel.
I'll tell you what, bro, we couldn't do it without you. And I don't want to do it without you after you had COVID. And I mean, I tried to do the best I could, but man, we need you. You put the butts in the seats is what I always say. You're the guy that started all this. You're the guy that boots on the ground. You're actually on your way to Colorado. And again, this is like the 5th or 6th time you've been up there.
I'm excited. Is amazing. I'm excited, man. I love it.
Man, we love you too, man. And we really appreciate all you do to keep us relevant in this world, because this is a good time, man.
Chappy, how about you?
Love you, man. I love both of you very much. I've seen tremendous growth in both of you. You guys have seen my struggles and battles and the growth, and it's just brought us closer together. I'm excited about this union that we've created here, and I know that that God put us here at this place at this time for a specific purpose, and we're going to fulfill that purpose.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about backstage, Chappy, of just all the things that have transpired over the last 6 months. There's just no way in the world we can sit here and say that they've all been a coincidence. And you know, we all have our own beliefs and our own faith, But I think that the three of us, they're all in line when it comes to recognizing that this is not a coincidence, man. We're grateful that we're all together. Our channel is growing. We've seen a tremendous amount of people come on board and come and subscribe to our channel and join us in this great endeavor that we're on to help solve these cases. And if we can't solve them, if nothing else, we can get some eyeballs on them. I told Dusty earlier, I said I couldn't believe when I clicked on there and I saw that our channel has had 1.1 million views in the last 6 months. 1.1 million, Chappy. So I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful for you guys.
Yeah, I had a thought when you were saying that stuff is there isn't any coincidences. I think there was a lot of things that happened to make this come to pass, because there was things that didn't work out quite well for, like, I tried to start my own channel and I wasn't motivated. And then when all this stuff started happening, I got really excited again. And I was like, okay, this is what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't supposed to be doing that other stuff. Yeah. And then when Tyson asked about Chappy coming on, he didn't even know Chappy had former radio experience. And I told him that, and he's like, that's weird, because I just got the feeling I should ask him, because he didn't even know. But yeah, it's just too many things that happened to set this all up. And I really, really don't think it's a coincidence. Yeah.
Chappy, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think the audience knew that I had former radio experience either, but surprise, I did. Yeah,
I do now.
Yeah, I did. I was blessed to be part of a radio show for 1.5 years in the Phoenix market. I loved it. It was so much fun. But more importantly, I'm happy to be reunited with my cousins. I'm happy to be being focused in a good cause. And I'm just blessed to have you guys in my lives. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chappy, so much, and thank you for being here, man, and being a part of this journey with us. Dusty, I'll turn it over to you, bro. I mean, you kind of got the agenda for tonight. I feel like we have an incredible show. I don't know, man. We've had some great lives over the last few months, but I honestly feel like tonight might be the greatest live we ever have. I just feel the energy. There's a lot to talk about with the Suzanne Morphew case and other things that are going on in Southern Colorado. I'm just excited. I'm excited about this show tonight, Dusty. How about you?
Yeah, I am. And I've got a few things I want to there's one thing about me. I get up really early in the morning and I start going through emails and messages and comments, and some of them jump out at me. And there was a couple that jumped out at me. So I started having conversations with these people. And I told them I would mention these things, and I want to do that right now. So the first one is there is a missing soldier from Fort Bliss, Texas. His name is Richard Halliday. He's been missing since July. His parents found out a few weeks later. According to the person that I talked to, there's no proof on CCTV that he ever left the base. And so they're trying to figure out what happened. According to this lady that told me about this, they think they're considering him AWOL right now, which there's no way is what she said, because his family would not be looking for him. They would have definitely heard from him. So I just want to get his name out there and get a little attention on his case. His name is Richard Halliday. He's a soldier from Fort Bliss. So the second person I want to talk about is a gentleman named Timothy Clyde Jensen. He was 58, and he was killed 2 days ago by a drunk driver in Phoenix, Arizona. And his daughter reached out to me and asked if we could please share their GoFundMe, because they were wanting to pay for a funeral for him. He was riding his motorcycle, and a drunk driver ran a red light and hit him and killed him. He's a grandfather. He's a father, and it's a really sad situation. So I'm going to post in the comments after the live's over a link to their GoFundMe. And if you can help them in any way, that would be great. And my heart goes out to them. I think his I'm real bad at remembering names, but I'm pretty sure his daughter's name is Janine, and I feel really bad for that family, and I hope that they can find some peace through this tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. I think that's all the shout outs I wanted to give. I did want to say a half fast. I didn't say that word. Half fast haiku. She or he, I don't know if it's a he or she, but they reminded me that they mentioned the ice chest cooler theory to me, and I forgot who did it, and I just told her he or she that I would give them a shout out because they reminded me, and I'm glad they did, because I don't like taking credit for theories that I didn't come up with myself. So I'm glad that and I did think that was a really good theory. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah.
No, that was very interesting. That stuff you were saying about those guys that you met that were getting those ice chests off of the turntable or whatever that thing's called at the airport. So
I just thought they were going to be drinking a lot of beer when they were hunting. I didn't know what the heck was going on.
You know what? I'm sure a couple of those ice chests are strictly reserved for the beer. And so
the root beer.
I'm sure they're doing that. But hey, Dusty, I'm grateful you're mentioning that, because there's another case in Arizona that we've been covering that we want to start putting some more eyes on, and that's the Nick Cordova case. And I actually talked to Alicia Cordova tonight, and she's going to try to join us here in a little while. She's going on a little vacation with her 2 kids. She's been doing that a lot lately, going to places and trying to keep the kids occupied and things like that. This is Alicia Cordova with her husband Nick and their 2 beautiful children, Cruz and Capri. And this is a situation where it's one of the most heartbreaking cases that you could ever imagine, where Nick Cordova was gunned down and shot and killed while he was on FaceTime with his 2 beautiful children, and his wife was left to pick up the pieces, and she's left to try to find answers to what happened. And you can imagine that it happened in May, Dusty and Chappy, and so that's been several months ago. You can imagine her frustration trying to raise these children by herself, all the while missing her husband and trying to figure out what the heck happened. And it's just been a nightmare situation for Alicia Cordova. She's going to join us tonight, hopefully, if she can get a signal from Forest Lakes. And so anyway, I just wanted to kind of give our viewers a heads up on that. We're going to try to bring her on for a discussion tonight. But that's another case in Arizona that we want to start bringing millions of eyeballs to, because we want justice served in the Nick Cordova case. And we believe that there's more to the Nick Cordova case than just the murder of Nick Cordova. There's more than meets the eye. So be prepared for that, everybody. So anyway, thank you, Dusty, for bringing those cases up.
Sure. And if any of our, is that me feedbacking? Anyway, if there's anybody that doesn't know this case, they can go to, we have a playlist of the Nick Cordova case on our YouTube channel. So anybody who wants to get some just learn the case, then go to there and man, I heard some weird stuff. I could hear myself, and then I could hear some weird stuff.
I think it was me, bro. Let me put these headphones on and see if that helps. So I'm sorry.
I was trying to talk, and I kept hearing and then I was getting confused, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
I hear I hear that stuff all the time, but I notice when I put my headphones on that it kind of like dissipates. So anyway, Chappy, your thoughts on that, bro? Chappy grew up on the pretty much the Guadalupe and Cooper area. Yep. And so, Chappy, you're familiar with this area, but what are your thoughts on this Nick Cordova case?
From the moment I began to understand this case, my heart was absolutely broken for this family. My heart was broken for these children who had to witness such an event. And I honestly I feel compelled and drawn from the very moment I learned about this to do all that I can to bring justice. So I'm excited that we're going to be putting some more eyes on this. I'm excited to be playing a small part in being able to really just get this focus zeroed in on this case so we can bring justice and closure to Alicia and her two beautiful kids. We need to end this on a positive for those kids and not leave it just lingering as it is. We have to get this resolved for them.
Dusty, you have anything on that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what Gilbert PD's doing. We have people that we talk to, but we haven't heard much from them lately. We haven't. I know it's not going cold, but it's kind of got really slow. And I think this is a perfect time to get it back going. I think that we've kind of been. I think what we were doing was giving Alicia that space to figure her way through all this, and I think she's ready to get this back in the news and back to where we can figure this something out. We just didn't want to push her too hard with all that she was going through. And now I think she's came to us. She came to Tyson and talked to him, and I think she's ready. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. She has never given up. Obviously she's never going to. She just wanted to let the situation percolate a little bit and kind of see, what law enforcement was going to do and come up with and all that kind of stuff. But she's ready to start talking about the case a little more and, getting it out there in front of people. And, law enforcement, they're doing their thing. I have no doubt that law enforcement's working around the clock on this case. I don't ever doubt that. They're doing what they can do, but Alicia has a role in this too. She needs to get out there and make sure that this case is before the public and that it's receiving a lot of attention, because that attention is what a lot of the time solves these cases. And, and that's one interesting thing about Barry Morphew, without changing the subject here, is why hasn't he welcomed media and YouTubers and anybody that's willing to put in the work and the time to solve this case? Why isn't he welcoming that? That's so strange to me. But
I know why.
Yeah, but anyway,
he doesn't want it to be solved. So.
Yeah, and I know we're gonna get into that, and I didn't mean to, to jump the gun here, but she's just one that really wants to get this case out in front of the media and get some people talking about it. And I think as she does, Chappy and Dusty, that we're going to start to see some resolution.
Yeah, and I think what she was, I think she just needed to spend that time with her children and get them on a solid foundation. Her son Cruz was playing football and stuff like that, and she needed to concentrate on that stuff. So yeah, in no way, shape, or form would I ever believe that she was ever giving up on finding who did this. No way. So
no, there's no way. And I see comments here and there where people say that Alicia might be involved in this.
Brother.
There's no way. I'm going to put that to rest right now, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not contact me and say that Alicia Cordova was involved in the murder of her husband, because there's no possibility. Now, I understand that we see these cases and there's nothing that's nothing that's outside the realm of possibility. But I'm telling you right now, Alicia Cordova is solid and she wants to find answers, and she's got a beautiful family and a support system, and we're just here to help her. But I don't want anybody to think that she was involved in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you believe that, that's your opinion, and you're welcome to that. But as far as the Draper brothers and Chappy go, there's no way. Chappy, what do you think?
Not a chance. There's nothing at all that leads me to believe that she's involved. And in listening to her and having conversations with her through you, Tyson, I have no inclination to believe that she's involved in any way, shape, or form.
No, and I've seen her on Facebook. I'm Facebook friends with her, and I see what she's doing. And we've spoken to her on here. You've spoken to her, and interviewed her, Tyson, and I've edited the videos, and I've got to see like everything that she's put on film over and over while I'm editing. And she's never done anything that would even make me raise my eyebrows to think that would even be a possibility. So
thank you, Dusty. Hey, can you do me a favor real quick, Dusty?
Sure.
Can you reach out to her real quick and see if she's still willing to join us tonight? Because we'd sure like to hear from her and just kind of get an update on what's going on. In the meantime, Dusty, while you're looking that up, there's been several people that we need to thank here for their donations. And also we've had several people join our channel tonight and become members. Do you guys see those anywhere of who they were? I'd like to give them a shout out here.
It disappeared on my end. I can't see it anymore.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I was looking, I know they were up there. There were several
members. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. Like 3 or 4 people became members of our channel tonight. We really want to thank those people. I know one of them, was, right here. Let me put this up on the screen. Liz Gaspari Nutrition. She not only sent a $10 donation, but she's also a member of our channel. Chappy, there you go. Chappy, I mean, I would feel inadequate reading that, man. Why don't you read that for me?
Because I'm blushing. I can't.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, okay. If you can't read it, Chappy has the greatest smile, by the way, 20 years this month. My ex fiance Rose Campbell was found murdered at 29 years old. Not a day goes by that I don't think of him. Allegedly cops got away with it. So Liz Gaspari, this is the first time this is the first time I've seen your name pop up, but I want to offer my condolences to you for this horrible situation that happened to you. It's unfortunate that this happens more times than we could, even imagine, situations where we have corrupt cops, we have different things that are playing out. But, anyway, thank you, Liz, for being here tonight. We're trying to solve these cases. We're trying to help people that have suffered in ways that you're suffering, where you've had people that were murdered or something that happened, people that were close to you. We want to help those people. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, just let us know. We'd be glad to help you in any way that we can. And our hearts go out to you. So
do you want to respond to this, Tyson, or you want me to? This is talking about David Sweetman's wife. His first wife is who that this is talking about, Laura Sweetman. She died in 2013 under suspicious circumstances. So that's what this is referring to. I think he's remarried. There's some question on if they're married or not, but he has a new partner. So anyway, yes, she died under suspicious circumstances, and she was a pediatric neurologist. So she was a really, really smart person who gave a lot to help people, especially young people. So it's really sad that she's gone.
Dusty, she was also somebody that helped David Sweetman in a lot of ways. He had these ambitions of starting these towing companies and all these other enterprises like Gilbert Air, and she was kind of the financial backing to all of that. So, kudos to her for the person that she was. Now, that's one of the things I'm glad that person brought that up, because that's something that we know about this case, is there's more than meets the eye. It's not just the Nick Cordova case. It's also the Laura Sweetman, and there's more, guys. There's more to this case than meets the eye, and law enforcement knows that. I know they know that, and we know that, and we're not going to let this case go. And this is going to be a case that I think is going to really blow up in the media and on YouTube as time goes by, because this guy has gotten away with a lot as far as I'm concerned. And it's time to pay the piper.
Well, we've read court documents that a judge and a district attorney, where they were saying it was really weird that this was going on. It was an IRS case, and David Sweetman just kind of got, once she died, all their IRS problems went away. So
yeah.
And there was questions raised about that inside the courtroom by the judge, and we have the documents that say all this. This is the prime kind of case that media would run away with. You got a pretty young to be passing away doctor who is a pediatric neurologist that is killed, and then under suspicious circumstances, and then he partners up with Nick, and then he dies, and David Sweetman gets a bump on the head in the same office. So that, this is a prime thing that Tyson was talking about that the media is going to pick up on. So,
exactly.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's something that needs to be investigated deeper than just the Nick Cordova case. Now, this is a situation where Nick Cordova was a good family man. He wasn't on drugs. He wasn't involved in drug deals. He wasn't involved in the cartel. He wasn't involved in anything. He was trying to be a good husband and a good father.
Yeah.
And he went, he loved going to Glamis and the sand dunes and going out and spending time with his family. He was a good family man, and he was gunned down, and murdered in cold blood. And this is something that is just a small part of a big situation that we're investigating, and that hopefully, as time goes on, Chappy, that we can uncover some, we can shed some light on what's really going on here. Chappy, what do you think about it?
No, I think you're right. I just want to say that by all accounts, everything that I have read in regards to Nick Cordova, he was a genuinely good man, and all he wanted to do is provide for his family, be the best father and husband that he could be, and he actually was very generous with his time and with his resources to other people, folks in need. So, we've got to bring justice to him, and I believe that as we put more focus on this case, more things will come to light. At any time you shine a bigger light on something, more's revealed. You're able to see it. And anytime you put more eyes on a problem and more minds on a problem, the more pieces of that puzzle we're able to put together. I think that this case is about to be blown wide open here shortly. But I also want to say this, because you mentioned earlier that we believe that the Gilbert police are doing everything that they can. And I want to tell you this, I do believe that as well. I've worked with those guys for a while, a very long time actually. And I know their hearts, and I know that they are doing all that they can to ensure that this case is resolved. The thing is, we don't hear much about these cases sometimes, simply because the information that they're gathering, the evidence that they have, they don't necessarily want that to get out, because if certain elements of the case get out, it gives the person or the persons that they are investigating an opportunity to cover some tracks. So that's why it feels as if there's not a lot happening on the end of law enforcement, but I guarantee it is. And it's about to get real, because we're about to shine a very big spotlight on this.
There's one more. Yeah, good. Well done, Chappy. There's one more thing I want to mention that I forgot to mention. David Sweetman and Laura Sweetman were in the process of getting a divorce when she passed away also. So, you can always do the follow the money thing on those cases, and that's definitely one of them. So
Yeah. All right, Dusty. Hey, well, while we wait for Alicia Cordova to join us, if you could send her the link that she needs to log in. She just told me through text message that she's getting close to her destination, and when she gets there, she'll log in. So if you can send her that link. But in the meantime, why don't we shift gears here, Dusty, and start talking about some of the other stuff that we have on tap for tonight, which pertains to the Suzanne Morphew case. And also, did you have something to mention about Melanie Pulowski? That's a name I haven't heard in quite a while.
Yeah, I did. I saw on the news that she was back in court, and she was in court for a custody hearing. And from what I heard, they were asking her right there in open court, do you believe in zombies? Do you believe in dark spirits? Were you a member of a cult? She said no to all those things. Didn't sound very convincing, but from what I gathered, she's going to get some type of custody over her kids starting in January. So they are a little bit afraid, of course, especially Brandon Boudreaux, that, what happened with Lori Vallow's children. I mean, that, of course, that's going to scare you. She lived right next door to Lori Vallow. She just up and left her kids, took off, went over and moved in right next door to Lori Vallow. So obviously there's going to be some apprehension, especially on Brandon Boudreaux's part, being the father of those children. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember Tyson going knocking on that door, and I think they had already bailed.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Dusty, I want to tell everybody this, because I don't really like go into a lot of depth on the show about what some of the stuff that I do. But I want to tell you, when I was in Rexburg, Idaho, I went to this apartment complex where Lori Vallow lived and Melanie Pulowski. And also the last place that we saw JJ Vallow alive, playing with his friends on that doorbell camera. And I actually went, I don't remember I'm sorry guys, but I don't remember the name of the number of the apartment where Lori was at. But I went to that apartment and I knocked on the door, and the girl that was there, she was probably like in her early 20s. She was like, no, Lori doesn't live here anymore. This is where she lived. Melanie Pulowski lived next door with Brandon Boudreaux, but I don't think they're there, because I've been watching, and over the last 3 weeks or so, I haven't seen any activity over there whatsoever. So I just decided, who cares, man? I'm going to go over there and knock anyways. And I made that video, but I also attached a promise to it that I would find Melanie Pulowski, but I haven't been able to. And I, honestly, I feel bad that I haven't been able to fulfill that promise, but I'm not done looking yet. I don't know where she's at. I don't know if she's in Arizona or Idaho or somewhere in between, but I do believe that she holds some answers to what happened to JJ and Tylee. And I know law enforcement is trying to squeeze that information out of her, but God, Dusty and Chappy, she's got to know more than what she is pretending. She's got to know more. Absolutely.
I mean, how can you move somewhere right next door to some place, or to your aunt, and not know where her 17-year-old and her 7-year-old are? And she said she asked in an interview, she said, well, I asked where, but me and Tylee weren't that close, and she was with friends. I didn't question that, but then she kind of changed the subject. And but a 7-year-old, you're not going to wonder where a 7-year-old is. He's not out with his friends for months on end or whatever.
Exactly.
That's just nuts that she didn't know something.
Yeah, no, it's just false. It's false. Yeah. There's no way. What is JJ? Is he hanging out with those kids that he was playing with in the courtyard there? Is he spending 3 weeks over at their house? Like, this is a kid, man. How did she not say, hey, where's JJ? What's going on? Like, there's no doubt in my mind she knows more, so.
Oh, yeah. So, Tyson, can you, if you're talking to Alicia, can you just tell her that I sent that to her messenger, because I didn't have her email?
Yeah, she said she was traveling up up the I-17 to that area, so she was going to be out of range for a little bit. But we're going to try to bring her on as soon as we get a hold of her, guys. So just stay with us. We're going to hear from Alicia Cordova for the first time in several months, and we're super excited about that, aren't we, Chappy?
Absolutely. I'm very, very focused on this case, and I'm very grateful that she's willing to come on and share a little bit.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if she's going to have a good signal. I hate to overpromise because you never know with technology if it's going to come through for us, but we're hoping that she can have a good signal and she can come and kind of give us an update. So that's the news on the Nick Cordova case, guys, and also a little bit about Melanie Pulowski. Dusty, I'm glad that you mentioned she was in the news lately with trying to get custody of her kids. I don't see how any judge could give her any kind of custody when Brandon Bordeaux, Dusty, was this close to being murdered. Do we realize that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude. How could a judge give her any kind of custody? Brandon Bordeaux was in Gilbert, Arizona, of all places, Chappy. We're talking about several different cases, but he was in Gilbert, Arizona, and he had the window shot out of his Tesla. The bullet missed him by a mere inch, missed his head by an inch. And we're going to give Melanie custody. I don't think so.
You read my mind. I was thinking exactly the same thing, Tyson. And I hope that you are absolutely correct, but we live in a very strange and backwards world. So anything's possible, but I have to agree that any sane judge would not even consider giving those kids back.
Right. I mean, I understand kids need their mom, and I understand all of that, right? I've been through it myself. I understand that. But this is a situation where Brandon Bordeaux was nearly murdered. We could have added him to the list of Joseph Ryan, Charles Vallow, JJ Vallow, Tylee Ryan. I mean, we could have added his name to a long list of people that were murdered.
Tammy Daybell.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing that he is alive, and I think it's actually a gift from God that he's able to protect those kids from a tremendous amount of evil and darkness. So I hope Brandon Bordeaux wins. I hope Melanie doesn't get any custody of those kids, and that's not me being vindictive or mean or anything like that. It's because these people are warped, man.
Yeah, they had something wrong with their belief system. They had it all twisted up. They didn't. They just got deceived, by some false teachings. And Melanie Pulowski, from all reports, she was right there. Wasn't she arrested trying to break into some place with Alex Cox, one of the Brandon Boudreaux's family members? She was trying to climb a fence or something and got arrested.
Listen, Dusty, I don't pretend to know the details, but this is what I heard, that Melanie and Alex went to Utah where Brandon Bordeaux he was seeking refuge and safety with his family. He was living in Gilbert. From what I understand, he had a pretty good job. Everything was going pretty good with the exception of his wife. And so when things went down, he decided he was going to take his kids, go to Utah, and seek refuge with his mom and dad. Well, they set up a series of security cameras, and lo and behold, here's Melanie Pulowski and Alex Cox trying to climb the fence and get onto their property. I mean, this is crazy, man.
It is.
Melanie knows a lot, and she needs to be held accountable for it. And so does, and guys, I haven't forgotten about, what's her name, Dusty?
Zalema.
There you go, Zalema. I haven't forgotten about Zalema either. So you guys just hang tight on that. So,
yeah, it's interesting because that case just doesn't seem to go away. I know it's not anywhere close to being resolved, but it's kind of put on the back burner because we're waiting for the trials to come. I mean, I know the trial got merged I know that Chad didn't want that to happen, but Lori did. So that could tell you a lot right there when he didn't want to merge the cases, but she did. So,
All right. Hey, Dusty.
yes.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but Alicia Cordova just told me, hey, sorry, like 5 to 10 minutes out. So she'll
That's
be
cool.
on.
Just whenever she pops up, man, we can bring her on. So
Okay. Well, hey, while you and Chappy are discussing this, guys, this is embarrassing, but I got to use the restroom real quick.
he didn't have to say that. He could have just said, I gotta go, but he did. So I wanted to talk about something real quick while he's gone. Last show we mentioned one of Barry's sisters, Marcy, and we said that we thought she was probably the one that took the girls camping. Well, after that show, I received a lot of information from this certain person, and apparently Marcy was under house arrest because she had a driving while intoxicated offense. So she wasn't the one that took them because she can't drive a car for like 700 and something days, apparently. So because she had multiple run-ins with the law. And I'm only saying that because I saw the background information about it. So I know it's true. So if any of you, I'm reaching out to y'all, if any of you know who took those girls on that camping trip, then I want to know who that is, because that is really that is an important part of this puzzle, and I want to find that out. So
that's very interesting.
Somebody's saying something here. Troy Skinner said it wasn't her, that no one did. The girls just went camping. All right. Well, I remember Barry said they went with somebody from the church or a church camping trip. Maybe they just went and met everybody there. Maybe nobody took them. So that could be a possibility. So, but I don't trust Troy Skinner as far as I can throw him. So, I mean, I'll take that with a grain of salt. That guy's full of beans sometimes. So
you don't trust Troy? Why not, man?
Oh man, you haven't seen. You must not be on any of the Facebook stuff. See, Tamara told you right there.
Yeah.
I trust Tamara. That's for darn sure. I know her.
Tamara is correct. He has lied many times and continues to do so.
Yeah, he might pop in here and say something, then pop out as quick as he came in, like he did that one time.
Yeah.
Hey, you all right, man? Oh, he left again. There he is.
I'm good.
There
good.
He is.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, man. I've been drinking a lot of water the last couple of days. So anyway, that is totally beside the point. So
I want to answer this question because I have a little bit more info. Dusty, did you know Sarah made her blog private? Yeah, I did. I talked about that in my last video, but today somebody sent me a new writing that she did a couple of days ago. It was on it was in the magazine that she writes for. But anyway, she wrote a little thing. I'll probably bring that up in my 3-2-1 report on Wednesday. So
I love you guys, man. I love you guys so much. Like, no matter what, you guys have my back, whether I got to go to the restroom or whatever. Whatever the case may be, man, you guys, I love you guys so much. But Dusty, there's still people out here like Laura Pender who don't know who Troy Skinner is.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of people that have the same question. And as a teacher, that's one thing that I realize is a lot of the times, even, like my students, they one person will ask a question, and I realize that like a dozen people have the same question. So anyway, who's Troy Skinner? That's one of Barry's friends. It's one person that has really stood by Barry's side and has defended him tooth and nail. And we've invited him to come on our show, and we would love to hear from him. We have some questions for him, but as soon as we called him out and asked him to come on our show, just like a lot of other people that we've done that to, he went and hid. He went and hid in a corner, and we never heard from him again. So, Troy, if you really want to defend Barry and you really want to to get the truth out there of what happened to Suzanne, or whatever your opinion is, that invitation is ongoing, and you can come on our show anytime you want. We would love to hear from you or anybody that could tell us one reason, Dusty, one reason why Barry is innocent. We have not come across one person that can tell us one reason why Barry is innocent. That's all we want to know.
And I'm still waiting for that email from that lady that wanted to know my email because she didn't want to have that discussion online. I still haven't got that email. I asked her the same thing. One reason why you think Barry's innocent. Nobody's been able to tell us that yet. I want to answer a couple of Laura's questions. She asked, the reason that you watch all this stuff, but you probably don't know who he is. He's mostly like a guy on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook and you don't follow these things, then you probably don't know who that guy is. And he is not the 400 tour dude. That is George Davis. And he didn't do, there's no 400 tour dude, but that's who Barry was talking about. No way though anybody actually did that, but
Yeah. All right. So Dusty, did you send that link to Alicia Cordova?
I sent it to her messenger on Facebook. That's the only contact I have with her.
Okay.
So if you have another way, just send that to me and I can.
Well, I'm going to tell her. I'm just going to text her real quick and tell her through Facebook. So we're excited about having Alicia on here tonight. It's been several months. I mean, I know she told me a couple of months ago that she wanted to take a break from social media just to kind of let things settle and let law enforcement do their job. But she's willing to step out of her comfort zone and come back on here tonight and give us an update. And we're excited about that. I really want to hear from Alicia. She's a great person, and she's been through hell and high water the last few months, and I'm excited to hear from her. So just bear with us as we wait for her to get on here. But we have plenty to talk about in the meantime, don't we, Dusty?
Yeah. Yes, we do. Let me pull up my itinerary here. So I've been getting a lot of information about this Suzanne Morphew case. I'm trying to get through it to see what I think is real and what I think is, maybe too far-fetched. But there have been a lot of things that have come up that I'm trying to find my itinerary. Hold on just a second.
Hey, Dusty, while you're looking at that, can I look at this message on the screen here?
Yeah.
Anyone that asks why they think BM is innocent and they ghost you right away is sad. BM is not innocent, and most know it except for the BN manager. Now, you're right, Rainey, and I like your comment, but I think I don't know if it was you or somebody else named Rainey, but I wanted to tell you I really love your name, because that's my daughter's name. And even though it's spelled a little bit different, that's an uncommon name. So Rainey, if that is your name, it's a beautiful name and I love it. And I also love your comment. We've tried for months now to wrestle with the notion of Barry being innocent. We've tried to look at it from both sides, haven't we, Chappy?
Yep.
And we have just, and Chappy has, in case you don't know that much about Chappy and his background, he's a former law enforcement officer with experience in investigating crimes such as this. And Chappy, have you been able to find any reason why Barry might be innocent?
No, and one of the things that you do in law enforcement is you try to find ways to rule people out as suspects, to eliminate them from the suspects, because as you rule other people out, you are able to narrow down, to who the suspect may be. I've found nothing at all that could rule him out as a suspect, and I firmly believe that if he's not directly involved, he has a lot of knowledge about what happened that he's not sharing with us.
Yep. And I've heard you say that exact thing on several lives, Chappy. And I know that you and I went out to Salida when Andy Mormon, the brother of Suzanne Morphew, came out and organized this big search. you and I were there and we were fully invested and fully involved in it. And I heard you say that same thing several times about how you wanted to eliminate Barry as a suspect, but based on your training and your knowledge and your gut feeling, you were just not able to do that.
Nope, I can't do it. There's nothing that I have found that could eliminate him as a suspect.
Okay. Dusty, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's just too many things. I wanted to ask you, Tyson. There was I'm having trouble remembering, but there was a guy who went on one of these shows, or they were talking about this analysis. There was an analysis on Barry, and it was by a guy named Paul. Do you remember whose show that was? Or because I got an email from that guy today. He sent me that analysis, and I was just wondering if you remembered whose show that was on, because I wanted to give him a shout out. But if you don't remember, I would want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, Dusty, I wish I did, dude. So
I don't either. So I'm just asking. I was just
Yeah.
seeing if you knew. So
No, I wish I did, because he deserves a shout out, but I honestly don't. I honestly don't, bro.
okay. So what he did was he put together this, and this goes right along with what you're talking about right now. He talks about Barry in the media and all the times that he went and talked. And he talks about, he does a statement analysis is what he calls it. And he said, we examine the words a subject uses and we apply principles and specific indicators of sensitivity that we discern from what the subject tells us. We always start from the position that the subject is going to tell us what the subject is going to tell us is truthful. Through the subject language, their priorities, what they say and do not say, amongst other markers, we build a picture. This can allow us to determine whether the subject is being truthful or not. If they are deceptive or may have guilty knowledge, there's Alicia, we do not rely on a single sensitivity indicator, but instead we build our picture using all of the indicators that may be provided by the subject. So let's put that on the back burner because Alicia's here and we can talk about this one because she's only got a limited amount of time. Hello, Alicia.
Hi, I'm trying to find a spot with good lighting out here.
Well, there you found one.
Hey, Alicia, we're so glad to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, awesome. So, no, we were just like, I don't know if you've been watching the show, but we were just talking about the Nick Cordova case, your husband's situation, and we were talking about you, and we're just super excited that you're joining us tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
I can hear kids in the background. How are your kids doing?
They're doing okay. They're with cousins right now running around. So
Awesome.
we came up north. My husband's cousins have a cabin, and so we just needed to escape for the weekend. And I do photography, so I'm going to do some shoots here tomorrow in the pine trees. So
Awesome.
yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us, Alicia. I know that we one thing we were mentioning on here is that you had kind of felt like you needed to kind of take a break from social media and YouTube and all that and kind of let things percolate and law enforcement do their thing and all that kind of stuff. So, and we totally respect that. And we just want you to know that we're here to help you in any way that we possibly can. But we also respect when you need that space. So, but we're glad that you're starting to kind of reach out now again and get more visible and get some eyes on this case. So I think it needs it. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a few months since I kind of took a break from social media and from doing interviews. And I was just kind of trying to sit back and just see what happened. And I'm to the point where I just feel like I'm losing hope and I feel frustrated. And the way I feel like I'm helping is by bringing awareness to my husband's case. And I mean, I feel like it's not going to hurt anything to try to seek justice for him, to spread the word about, what happened. And I don't know, just super frustrated.
Yeah.
Months on the 27th, and we still have no answers. And it's not fair for my kids and me or my family. And it's like, I don't know what to tell them. You know, they're so little, and especially with Cruz, he's a little bit older and he doesn't understand. He's like, someone took dad, so they should be in jail. And to try to explain to them why they're not, it's super hard to explain to a 5 and 8 year old why someone hasn't been arrested for killing their dad.
Especially when you don't know what the answer is. You probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
And we do. We want that person to be in jail too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chappy?
it's frustrating.
What are your thoughts on that, Chappy?
And I know, Alicia, I've mentioned this before. Oh, hello, sweetheart.
Hi.
You are so cute.
I like your glasses.
Hey, I got a question for you, sweetheart. Why are you so pretty?
I don't know.
You were such a cute little thing. So I know that I've mentioned before, and Alicia, I'm going to say it again. I get the frustration that's there, and I get frustrated also. And I can tell you that the law enforcement officers who are investigating this crime are also going to be frustrated. But I think one of the things that we need to be sure that your children understand is that the reason why somebody hasn't been arrested just yet is because law enforcement has to be very careful and make sure that everything is lined up so that when the arrest is made, they can get a solid conviction and put this person away where they belong and where they deserve to be. And we got to be careful. It takes time for these cases to become so ironclad that a defense attorney can't tear it apart in court. And I know that's so hard for such a young people. My heart's breaking. Sorry. I know that's so hard for these little people to understand, but justice will come. I firmly believe that justice will come in this case, and there will be a day that those young people will be able to understand. And if you could just give them my love. I'm a sucker for little people, and I'm gonna cry, so I'm gonna stop talking.
No, and PD, I mean, the main detective on the case there, I know that they are invested in his case and they're doing everything they can. It's just for me as his wife and having to, every day it's just another day and I'm just waiting, for a phone call. And I know justice is going to come. It's never going to come soon enough for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Yep. Well, Alicia, we wanted to invite you on the show tonight to we're excited to just see your face and to see the kids playing once again, and you guys are going on about your life. But we want you to know that there's not a day that goes by that we don't think about your case and Nick, and we want to help you in any way that we possibly can. But we don't want to be too pushy. We don't want to do anything that you're uncomfortable with, but we would love to continue to get the word out and to raise awareness so people understand not only that, Nick was murdered, but also that there may be more underlying conditions with this case. And so we're just waiting. We're kind of letting you decide or determine the pace that we're going at. But we want you to know that we haven't gone anywhere. We're still right here. We're here to help you every step of the way.
I know. I appreciate
So, does anybody have anything else, guys?
No, I just I'm really thankful that I get to watch what you do with your kids on Facebook, because I mean you're really strong for them. You got them living life, and I love that you keep going and you're being strong. I know it's not easy, can't be, but you do it, and I watch it, and it's amazing, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. That's the only way we're getting through is by staying busy and keeping our minds occupied. We can't just, we're being home is just a constant reminder that he's not there. So anytime that we can escape, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alicia, I know I can hear them in the background. They're probably wondering where you're at and what you're doing. So we'll let you go, but we appreciate you dropping in tonight and saying hello. And if you need anything, Alicia, please just reach out to us. We'll do anything we can to help you in any way, shape, or form. So,
all right. Thank you, guys, and we'll chat soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye, guys.
You guys have fun, Alicia. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So there's the update with Alicia
Seeing
Cordova.
Capri that killed me, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That was rough watching Capri.
I know. You know, it's just one of those situations. We've talked about it before. It's absolutely heartbreaking. You know, in case you guys are wondering, if you're new to our channel, Dusty and Chappy, do you guys mind if I just give kind of a recap on what's going on here?
Not at all.
Nick Cordova is the husband of Alicia, and he was brutally murdered in May at his place of business on Cooper and Guadalupe in Gilbert, Arizona. Some guys came in, a couple of thugs who pretended like they were going to sell him what's that stuff called? CO2, or not CO2, but something that has to do with air conditioning, right?
Like the Freon type.
Yeah, the Freon type stuff. And as he was telling them he wasn't interested, they pulled out a gun. And this is my understanding of what happened. I don't know all the details, but he was brutally murdered. He was shot several times. And his business partner, David Sweetman, was there. And he was in the adjacent office when this all went down. Now, what's weird about that, Chappy, is that David Sweetman didn't spend a lot of time at the office. He was a silent partner, right? He was just somebody that fronted the money.
Yep.
And as we've delved into his background, it's becoming more obvious to us that this guy is up to something. There's a lot of shadiness going on there. And so we got to look at him under a very suspicious eye right from the beginning. You know, was he involved in this? And if he's not, okay, who cares, right? Fine, let's get on to it. Let's get on to the person that actually did this. But his behavior is very shady in terms of, you know, not wanting to talk to Alicia, filing lawsuits against her, blaming her for, you know, all this outlandish stuff like tax. I don't know. I don't even know all the stuff like, you know, them going to Vegas and spending all this company money, which is all a bunch of BS as far as I'm concerned. So we're looking at David Sweetman first and foremost, aren't we, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's some things that I won't go into because I don't know what might jeopardize the investigation. But I will tell you this, there's some very alarming things about David Sweetman and some very alarming things that I've learned about the investigation that we have to get to the bottom of that. I don't know if he's involved, but it's very weird, some of this stuff.
Well, it's just like Lulu Bell says there, it's very shady.
Yes.
I mean, that's the word right there that we're looking at, shady. So anytime there's any type of shadiness, Dusty, that's when we need to spend a little more time on it and investigate, right? And we're not law enforcement. We're not law enforcement. We don't pretend to be. We're not ever going to solve these cases, right, Dusty? But anytime that we see that word shady, we're going to spend a little more time on it, aren't we, Dusty?
Yeah, and it's not just that he's shady. He's got a record. He's got charges of unlawful imprisonment, assault. I mean, he's got a pretty long rap sheet. Plus, all of his shady business deals that he's been involved in, all that stuff's really shady. So, yeah, shady is a great word to describe David Sweetman. Somebody asked me to put up a picture of the suspect, so I'm just going to pop that guy's mug up there. This is the suspect in quotation marks because, you know, I mean, I'm sure he had something to do with this, but like we said, we think we know the reason why this all happened. And
hey, Dusty, can you put that up again real quick? I want to reinforce that number. Please call the Gilbert Police Department at 480-503-6500 if you have any information pertaining to this case, or call Silent Witness at 480-WIT-NISS. Further information will be released. Or NESS, excuse me. So anyway, if you guys have any information on that case, please step forward and help Alicia and those two beautiful children, and we need to get to the bottom of this case, Chappy, don't we?
Absolutely. You guys keep using the word shady, and that's a perfect description for what's happening here. And what we're about to do is we're going to cast a spotlight on that shade and illuminate the darkness. We're going to find out what happened.
All right, Dusty, I know we spent almost a little over an hour talking about this. I know you had some stuff pertaining to the Suzanne Morphew case. We're going to run over the hour mark tonight, guys. I hope you don't mind. Thank you for spending your Friday night with us. But let's shift gears here now and get into the Suzanne Morphew stuff, if you want to go ahead and do that. So
sure. And we can always save most of this stuff for another time too, but I'll mention a few things. What I was talking about was this statement analysis, and it's by a guy named Paul Meladarte or something like that. I don't know how to say his last name, but anyway, what I was reading was it's talking about how you can pick up things through a subject's language, excuse me, their priorities, like what they're prioritizing in their statements and what they say and do not say amongst other markers. And he said that's how they build a picture. So you know how those the profiler task force ladies, they each had their own little specialty. Well, this guy's has to do with analyzing statements. So I just want to share a couple of things that he mentions in here. This is an interview that he had with Lauren Scharf, and it said he starts off saying, "Listen," and this guy has it underlined, and it says Barry said during a Thursday morning phone call, Jeff Puckett was in prison for 9 years. And then this is the guy's statement. He says, in statement analysis, we focus on a subject's order and priority. Alongside their words, this provides us with valuable insight into their current mindset and what was and is most important to them. Here, Barry Morphew's priority is not to address what Puckett has said in his interview. Instead, he chooses not to address it, deflecting us away by attacking Puckett's character. And
exactly.
Yes, and that he's done that so many times in his interviews. You know, he did that with Morgan too. He said, "Well, she's a meth head too." You know, that's the first thing he said about her. They're mad at me because I won't hire him anymore. I won't let him work for me. I mean, that seems to be his MO. He just goes after. Why do you think he does that, Chappy? Why do you think he would attack them instead of addressing what they said?
Deflect.
Absolutely.
Move everything away from him and deflect it towards somebody else.
Absolutely.
That's Dusty. I want to echo and piggyback off of Chappy, but no, there's no reason for that, man. Why would you attack the character of your employees unless you were trying to, just like Chappy said, deflect away from what's really going on? Yeah. You know, and that's what he's a master at that. He is a master at deflecting and saying, well, they're meth heads, and discrediting people and saying, look at me, I'm the good guy. Look at this Valentine's letter that Suzanne sent to me in 1992. You know, I'm a wonderful guy. I mean, this guy's a master manipulator as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm a good guy. I hired these folks knowing that they had issues, but I'm
trying to help. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to help them. I'm a good guy. You know, I went against my best judgment, but I'm trying to help these guys. They're meth heads. Yeah. You know, this guy's up to something, and it's just as clear, crystal clear.
Yeah, that's really interesting you said that, because one of the next things that this guy says in this statement is, note that Barry Morphew was happy to trust Puckett, who had been in jail, to help him on his job, but then seeks to use that against Puckett to attempt to destroy his statement's credibility. He feels betrayed by Puckett, but his priority is again to attack his character rather than the information Puckett provided. Yeah. So yeah, he's that's what you guys are saying. You know, he's saying, "Oh, I'm a good guy," but then in the same thing, he's just attacking their credibility, saying, "Well, they're terrible people," even though I was trying to give them a chance.
Exactly.
Here's one other thing. Let me mention this because it's really interesting. He said here, Barry Morphew shoots the messenger, but not the message itself. This is often used where someone's argument is weak and a tactic employed by deceptive people. And here he's breaking down this statement. This is Barry speaking. I rushed home, left all my tools at the hotel, called my workers and said, I have a family emergency. You're going to have to figure this out on your own, he said. And this is the breakdown this guy says. We make note of the order here from Barry. Number 1, I rushed home. Number 2, left all my tools. Number 3, called my workers. He says, I rushed home. Barry has been informed of Suzanne's disappearance. He tells us he rushed home. In statement analysis, we flag the expected versus the unexpected. Given the circumstances, we would not expect that he would do anything but rush back. That he tells us this means that this could be important. Time is be sensitive to him. And we would examine whether there was any delay in this journey, and if so, why. So that's pretty interesting. Like what he's saying is, why would you have to tell us that? I mean, we already expect, and he did that many times in that conversation with you, Tyson. He said, you know, this is really emotional. What, we already know that. Why would he even ever have to say that? We know this is emotional. Your wife's missing. I mean, you never have to say that in that situation, but he did. So that should bring up a red flag.
Yep.
Guys, got any comments on that?
No, I mean, go ahead, Chappy.
I was just gonna say, I think it's spot on.
Yeah, this guy's good.
I agree, man. I agree. Why would you bring that up? It doesn't make any sense. Now, I know we've said this 1,000 times, guys, and I'm gonna say it again because I don't care. But if you look at other cases like Elizabeth Smart in Salt Lake City, Utah, how was her dad, Chappy? Was her dad out there blaming other people and worried about what meth heads were doing or what this person was saying, or what was her dad doing, Chappy?
Well, initially, and he was considered a suspect in the very beginning, and he immediately cooperated with the police. He was out there pleading with everybody and everything that would listen to him for some help in bringing his daughter home. And he didn't shut himself in and recluse. He didn't shut out the world, even when there was a lot of vicious things being said about him, and that he may have been involved in the missing, in part of that with his daughter missing. He expected that, and he was okay with that. He knew that everyone was going to look everywhere, and he was an open book. He invited law enforcement in. He cooperated.
Chappy.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I spent time in your home and when we went to Colorado, right? And I stayed a couple nights at your house, and I saw the way that you interacted with your daughters. How many daughters do you have?
I have 4 daughters.
4 daughters. Beautiful, beautiful family, right?
Absolutely.
Now I want you to for a moment just picture that one of your daughters went missing, the way that Suzanne went missing. Would you be concerned about all this stuff that Barry's concerned about?
Not at all.
Not at all. I mean, that wouldn't even show up on the radar, would it?
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
What would be your concern?
Bring my daughter home.
Bring your daughter home. My
one focus. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't breathe. I probably wouldn't even go to work. My focus would be on find my daughter, bring my daughter home.
Can I mention something real quick?
Yeah,
bro?
go ahead, Dusty.
So it's interesting you brought this case up because I just watched a documentary about Elizabeth Smart yesterday, and I saw exactly how her dad was acting. And what Chappy just said, I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't sleep. That's exactly what Mr. Smart did. And you know what happened? He didn't sleep for 3 days. His dad said, if you don't calm down, if you don't do this, I'm going to commit you. And he sent him to the hospital. Like, he committed him for like a couple of days, let him get some sleep. But luckily they had a lot of family members, a lot of extended family members that came to help. And they all were doing what they were supposed to be doing. None of them were hiding behind anything. None of them were, they were out there looking Elizabeth Smart said she heard her uncle calling her name, and she just couldn't scream out because she's afraid that guy was going to kill her. And she said, I just feared that the helicopter noises were going to disappear and the voices will never come again. But those people never gave up. They kept on and kept on. So
now, Dusty, I want you to compare that side by side with what we've seen from Barry Morphew and the entire situation revolving or surrounding the missing persons case of Suzanne Morphew. How does it compare side by side?
It's like night and day. There's nothing is even close to being the same. What if Suzanne was out in the woods in a camp like Elizabeth Smart was, being raped and being tortured and being starved? He would have never found her because he didn't go out. I mean, they were about 3.5 miles away and from her house. So
okay, so not only is he not out there searching, but he's trying to sell the house and he's trying to get away from the house and the entire situation and blaming it on because we've got media and people like Tyson Draper that are coming onto our property and filming it. Well, big deal, man. Like, we're trying to help find Suzanne.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well, he wasn't too worried about you being out there when he ran into you. I mean, he should have been saying, "What are you doing here? And why are you here?" and been suspicious of you. But he was too busy throwing them theories out.
Especially the day before, Dusty, when he saw me the day before, when he drove right past me. Barry Morphew was about 15 feet from me as he drove by, and he didn't even look at me. He didn't even stop. He didn't even say, "What are you doing?" You know, he just went right on by.
He didn't want you to see him.
Exactly. And so to me, that speaks volumes that he didn't stop and say, "Hey, what are you doing out here with this camera and walking around close to my house?" You know, because if you're suspecting that your wife had been abducted, and wouldn't that be the first thing? Wouldn't you be on high alert? Like, hey, who's snooping around? What's going on? He didn't care.
No,
he didn't care.
If I thought that my wife had been abducted, Tyson, and I saw you snooping around my property, you would have seen the business into my pistol, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a way.
And you know what? And Chappy, you guys can't see it in that video, but I can tell you because I was there. And I looked at Barry. I looked directly at Barry as he was driving that truck right past me. He didn't even look at me.
Here he is.
Didn't. Yeah, there he is right there. Okay.
That's him and that's Tyson. That's how close he was.
Yeah, thank you for pulling that up, Dusty.
Yeah.
But no, that's a perfect example of how close I was. And Barry didn't even look at me. Now, you know, Chappy, you said it perfectly, man. They would have the business into your pistol, finding out what the heck they were doing snooping around by your house when your wife's been missing for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Come on.
And one of the theories is she was abducted. So
exactly. So I don't know, man. That speaks volumes to me. I don't think, you know, all the evidence that we have. And I call it evidence. I know it's all circumstantial, but to me, that's enough, man. That's enough to know that Barry's behavior is very, very suspicious. Now, maybe I'm late to the game. Maybe everybody's already knew that all along, but you know what? It is very, very suspicious, and it doesn't make 1 ounce of sense. You know, he hasn't done a thing in 6 months. In 6 months, he hasn't done one thing to find Suzanne. Where is she? He doesn't seem to care. He's over there in Pagosa, not Pagosa Springs, but wherever he's at, Poncha Springs. He's over there just living it up, having a good time, watching TV, sitting in his recliner. I'm tired of it, man. It's time to do something, Barry.
Well, just like what that Dr. Phil thing that I played at the beginning, that intro. Why did it take him so long to get back? Why was it 9 p.m. before he got back? I don't understand. I don't understand why he had to know way earlier than that she was missing. Why did it take him so long to get back? And that's one of the things that I want to know. I want to know why that took him so long. But I also want to know, like, all these other things, like, just like Tyson said, why aren't you doing more? Why are you just like going on with your life, selling off everything, getting guardianship over your wife because I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not just him. It's so many other people in her life that aren't doing anything. So
Exactly.
it's not just him,
and
but he should
Dusty,
be the main one.
And I want to tell you, man, that that day that I ran into Barry and talked to him face to face, Sandra Chapman, she says, Tyson, did you notice if he had any light in his eyes? Because when some murders, they lose the light of Christ and there is only darkness in their eyes. Okay, I want to tell you what I told Michael Dalton, dad with a phone, the very night that I ran into Barry. Something was wrong. Something was wrong. And I don't know. I'm not an expert I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I don't know. But all I know is my intuition. And something was wrong with what, and now you guys can all go back and look at that video and you can pick it apart and you can come up with your own conclusions. But for me, something was wrong. Like, that's not the way that somebody should be behaving when their wife has been missing for 3 weeks. You know, all these far-fetched theories and talking about how the mountain lion drug your wife up the hill.
He doesn't even say that. He says drugs are prey. They're prey up there. Like, his wife's just prey, you know, like,
And Dusty, he had no emotion.
No,
and I'm thinking about the people that I love and people that I've loved in the past and how I felt about them, as my spouse. And the love that I had for them and trying to imagine me saying that a mountain lion drugged them up the mountain without my voice cracking, without me getting emotional. And I can't do that. I can't say that that's within the realm of possibility for me, because that's not normal. You don't say that about your wife of 30 years or 26 years or whatever it is and not even have your voice crack. That, to me, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely insane. And I mean, we get emotional seeing Alicia's kids and stuff like that. And they're not even related to us. We barely know them, but it's just not normal. You're right. It doesn't make any sense. The way he acted, the way he didn't mention her name, the way he deflects all that stuff all the time and his statements. Do you notice every time that he makes a statement in the media, it's because people do something to direct the narrative in a different way than what he wants it. So he tries to take control of that situation and get it back to where he wants it. And he does that by attacking, deflecting, doing all that stuff. And it's just crazy, man. Like, he's not doing anything that you would think that a loving husband would do in this situation.
Nothing. Absolutely.
I know we're
nothing.
beating that to death too, but that's
But let me tell you, Dusty, I had a conversation with Lauren Scharf recently, and she talked about how she went over to his new place in what is it, Poncha Springs, and she actually talked to some people. I'm not going to say a lot of the details, but she was talking about how Barry was just sitting in his recliner watching TV, and I don't want to speak for Lauren or blow it, out of proportion or anything like that. But he's just sitting in the recliner watching the TV, just like, nothing's going on. And I know that's true because I also talked to a guy that was on the original search for Suzanne for right after it happened. They searched for 4 days and they brought people in from Indiana, people that were Barry Morphew's good friends. And I talked to one of those guys, and you know what he told me? He said Barry would go home at night after searching all day long, supposedly, and he would cook dinner and he would grill on his grill, and he would talk about, hunting. I want to go hunting and I want to watch football and I want to do all these things instead of talking about where Suzanne's at. And this person, and I've never said this before, but this person went home back to Indiana, changed his number, and has never spoke to Barry Morphew again to this day and wants nothing to do with him because he said that behavior was not normal.
Yeah. And he's not the only one to say that was at that search either. There was a few of them that said that, and they just, I mean, it was obvious that wasn't the guy they knew. He wasn't acting like he normally would act, from the past. So that's not normal. It's ridiculous.
Not normal behavior at all.
Yeah, let me read a little bit, just one more little thing that has to do with what we're talking about out of this statement analysis, because I think it's really interesting. He says, this is Barry, this whole thing is killing us. And then this guy says, what is Morphew referencing? In the context of his previous answers in the language, this does not appear to be Suzanne's disappearance that is killing them, but rather the focus on him. His reference to killing us is unfortunate given his wife may be dead. In choosing his words, he may be inadvertently telling us he thinks Suzanne may be dead. His choice of words speaks again to self, not Suzanne, and place his thing on potentially the same level as Suzanne's if she had been killed. Suzanne's disappearance in Barry's language here is a thing, not a tragedy. His words speak of annoyance and of a situation he does not want to participate in. Let's see what he tells us. And that is why I want our privacy. Morphew wants privacy. Pronouns do not lie. I want our privacy, not we want. Priority. Morphew wants privacy, not, and that is why we want Suzanne back. There is no call for his wife, Suzanne. Conclusion, deception indicated. That's how he ended that statement. So sad,
Chappy?
Man. Sad.
Chappy, what do you think, man?
I'm 100% in your camp, and man, I love the fire in you, man. I know that this is something that is weighing heavily on your mind, and you're wanting resolution for this, and I want to be able to help you however I can. I don't know that I can say anything better than what you two just did. I am so in awe at the passion and the dedication that you guys have to this case. And it just inspires me to step up and do more as well. So thank you guys. Seriously. And there's no way I can say anything better than what you guys just did.
Chappy, let me tell you something, man. You're involved in this whether you like it or not. Now, you know. Yeah, we're neck deep into all this, and
yes.
You've already been to Salida, you've been to
Yes.
Maysville, and you've seen firsthand what's going on. And I took you there, Chappy, for a reason, because I know your history and I know your background in law enforcement, and I wanted you to kind of size up the situation. I wanted you to look and see where they found Suzanne Morphew's bicycle and where all this other stuff is taking place, because I wanted your opinion, man, because I trust you.
Yep.
And, you know, it's just, you know, again, you are one of many people who feel the way that we do, that there are just like it's saying there on the screen, too many red flags, many red flags, Barry. It's time. You know, we're sick and tired of beating these dead horses and trying to get information. Barry, it's time that you tell us what you know. Plain and simple. Trevor Noel, it's time that you tell us what you know. Plain and simple. You know, and I'm sure that me saying this on this video is not going to change anything. They're probably not going to speak. But, you know, I'm not going to continue to say it. I'm not going to continue to fight for justice for Suzanne, because she deserves it. Andy Mormon deserves it. And honestly, all of us deserve it. Every single person. There's over 1,075 people in this chat right now. We all deserve it. We all deserve to know the truth, and we all care about Suzanne. And Barry, it's time. It's time to give it up, man. Just go in and talk to the CBI or the investigators and let them know what's really going on.
I know there's plenty of people out there who have information about this, and by plenty I mean more than 2 or 3. There's people who have information about what truly happened to Suzanne and what truly is being hidden and not discussed. And those folks, I guarantee you, and if you're listening to this, please listen to me. I guarantee you that it's eating at your soul. You are feeling a guilt that you are trying your hardest to suppress and pretend like it's not there, but it's there. And if you truly want to free your mind and become, and have that guilt and that damage to your soul that is there by hiding this, if you want to relieve that, do the right thing. Tell CBI what it is that you know. Yes, you stand to be in a little bit of trouble, but in the end, you will be liberated. It will make you feel better. You'll be able to sleep at night. The nightmares will end, guys. Do the right thing. Talk with CBI.
There's they might be in a little trouble, but there is a thing called cutting a deal. And you could definitely cut a deal in this situation, because I do believe if you have any information about this case and about where Suzanne is, a deal is to be made for sure. You might not get off scot-free. Like Chappy said, you might be in a little trouble, but are you going to live your life like this the rest of your life? Are you going to live with the guilt? Are you going to live with the fear of what, if it happened to her, it could happen to you too? And I want to touch on something Tyson said. He said, I know you're probably not watching this. It's not going to make a difference. But what we're saying, I guarantee you it's making a difference. And I could tell you why. Because when we start talking about certain people, things start going, things start happening. Websites disappear. Private things get put on things. These people are watching these videos. And you know who I'm talking about. And everybody knows who I'm talking about. And I know you're watching, and you can hate me or whatever, but I'm telling the truth. I'm saying you're going to pack this around the rest of your life, and that ain't no way to live. That's no way to bring up 2 little girls. That ain't no way to live in a marriage. That ain't no way to, and for other ones that aren't married or whatever, that are scared, that know something, that's no way to go through life knowing something like this. Just get it off your chest, like Chappy said, because it's horrible.
There's 2 things I want to say. Dusty, you're spot on. If you have information that can resolve this case or lead to a resolution of this case, and you're the first to speak, you are most likely going to be the one with the most lenient sentence when all this is revealed. So be that person. Do the right thing. And secondly, I forgot what secondly was. Sorry. But there was something else I wanted to say, but that's all right.
I'll tell you what, though. I think somebody that's got some money out there. We don't, but if we did, we could put out a big reward, not some stipulation on safely return, but a big reward. And there is going to be a race to see who can be the first, because you don't want to be the last, or you don't want to be the second to talk, because you're going to be in big trouble. If you're the first to talk, you got a lot of leverage. Did that jog your memory, Chappy?
Yep, I remember number 2. Number 2 is this. You do not want to go through your life always looking over your shoulder, always second guessing who you can talk to, who you can trust, always feeling as if all the eyes of the world are looking upon you. Free yourself. That's it. Free yourself.
And I'll tell you what, this is honest right here, and this is as honest as I can get. Whoever comes forward, if you know something, you're not only going to be like exonerated for as far as getting in trouble, but people are going to have so much respect for you for being brave enough to do that. Absolutely. And I'm serious. I mean, if it's, and I don't want to really name names, but I'm going to. If it's Cassidy, I even told him that in a private message. I tried to get him to listen to me. I told Cassidy, because he's a young kid. I said, if you know something, man, people are not going to hate you. They're going to, if you have the cojones to step up to the plate and say something, they're going to respect you for that. They're not going to hate you for that. So anyway,
for sure, Dusty. And Chappy, you guys are spot on, man. I mean, I don't even have anything else to add to that. They need to do the right thing. There's information out there that people know. They're afraid to come forward with it. And we are imploring you guys. We know you're watching our channel because we've been seeing the signs. We're seeing the things that you guys are doing after our videos are over. You guys go and change things up, don't they, Dusty?
Oh yeah, and there was a message from Sarah Noel on her thing in Serenity magazine, I think it is. But I think she was actually talking to me at the end of that. Keep your opinions to yourself, or maybe I think that's something she said. I'm sure that's to us.
Well,
here.
Dusty, what does that tell you? That tells you that you're starting to hit on that nerve. You're starting to hit on that nerve. There's something there. Keep going, brother. You're doing a great job. Dusty, in closing, I know we've been on here for an hour and a half, but I know we wanted to talk about this guy. If you guys don't mind me changing the subject here for just I want to talk about this psycho guy, this Adair Baraz or whatever his name is. There we go. The psycho. Now, isn't that the most fitting nickname that you've ever seen in your life? Psycho. I mean, this guy takes the cake. And so we know he was wanted for in connection to these 3 bodies that were found on 2 different properties. And how do you say? I always say Conejos County, but I think it's Conejos. People are always correcting me on that. Conejos County. That's a county I mentioned earlier that in another video that I'm very familiar with. My daughter lives in Manassas, which is in Conejos County, and these are small towns. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this case because this is something that we're going to be looking at over the next few days as I travel to Colorado. In case you guys are wondering, I will be in Colorado tomorrow, and we will be looking at this case as well as the Suzanne Morphew case. But what are your thoughts, Dusty, on this guy that they call Psycho?
First of all, I don't know who these victims are, but I have had run-ins, not run-ins personally, but I've seen people like him as far as tatted up like that. I've been mixed. When I was in the drug world, I saw people like that a lot, actually. And so from what I hear, he's associated with MS-13 and stuff like that. And I think that, it would be great to see who these victims are, just to have a better theory. But I mean, I think that when you're in that world, anybody who gets in your way, that's what you do. You just take care of them. And I think he thought, that he was in a remote enough place to where he could just bury him. I mean, look where he's at. I mean, you saw the place where he lived, and you know where that is, Tyson. You've
absolutely
been by there. So what I'm saying is, it's so remote. You might as well be on Mars or something burying a person. But from what I hear, somebody reported some stolen property, so they were investigating that and stumbled on these bodies. Is what I heard. I don't know if that's the truth, but that's what I heard. So
yeah, that's what I heard too. And actually, I think I heard it from you, Dusty, because there's the house.
Here's the place.
Now this is the house that I saw, and this looks exactly like the houses that I've seen in southern Colorado, in Antonito, Sanford, La Jara, Manassas, those kind of places, because this is very remote. And the fact that the sheriff's department actually found these bodies is a miracle, is truly a miracle, because there's millions of acres out there of just undeveloped land that people could bury bodies and never find them. So the fact that these bodies were found is a miracle, first and foremost. Now it's our responsibility, it's law enforcement's responsibility to find out who they are and to seek justice and to put eyes on this case. And that's what we're going to do, Chappy.
Absolutely. And law enforcement's on top of it. In fact, they were so on top of it that they were able to track him down in Gallup, New Mexico, and make an arrest, which I want to give a shout out and a kudos to the sheriff's office in working with the New Mexico State Police as well, in order to make sure that they tracked this man and brought him to justice.
Chappy, I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to give a shout out to the sheriff of Conejos County. His name is Garth Crowther. Dusty, do you have that picture of him?
I do. I didn't know who that was, but now I know. There he is.
There he is, Garth Crowther. And I'm not going to say I know him personally, but I know that there's a lot of people from Manassas, Colorado, that are Crowthers and are related to this guy. From what I've been able to see, he was raised in Sanford, the very town where these bodies were found. He had a successful career in law enforcement before becoming sheriff there. And man, I got to hand it to him. He went down there, his deputies went down there, and they located this guy in Gallup, New Mexico, Chappy, which you're probably very familiar with because you're from that area. And but man, the fact that they went out there and found this guy in a motel in Gallup, I got to give a shout out to Garth Crowther and his deputies for and all of law enforcement, CBI, for the work that they did in capturing this guy, because it could have turned up very ugly very fast.
From what I understand about this gentleman, they did a fantastic job. It could have gotten very ugly, so they did a fantastic job.
I don't know how they located
Nobody was hurt.
him. He didn't have any marks or distinguishing feature.
I know he didn't stand out in any way, shape, or form. It was like, trying to find where's Waldo.
This is the way that I saw it playing out. Like, this guy went to go check into a Motel 6 in Gallup, New Mexico, and the clerk was kind of like, "Man, I've seen this guy somewhere before. Wait a minute, what are those things under his eyes?" Like, boom, they nailed him. And I think those marks were what actually gave him away. So.
Well, he should have had a mask on. Maybe he wasn't wearing a mask, and he should have been.
Well, Dusty, even if he had a mask, you're going to see that ugly tattoos underneath his eyes, man. So
that's true.
But no, and that's not to take credit away from law enforcement. They did a great job in locating this guy and putting him behind bars where he belongs. And anyway, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, a part of the law enforcement action in getting the information out as fast as they did is what was able to get him, his face out there, his picture out there, so someone could actually identify him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a collaborated effort, man. And kudos to all those people that helped. But glad this guy's behind bars, especially as I go to Colorado tomorrow. And I'm going to be spending time in Manassas, La Jara, Rodeo, Antonito, Sanford, all those areas, Alamosa. I'm going to be spending time there, and I'm glad that this thug is off the street, so I don't have to worry about him. So
the bad thing though is there's a lot more just like him out there too. That's the sad part about it.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm not saying there's not, Dusty, but I know that doing this kind of work that we do, we kind of put a target on our backs. And I'm okay with that because it's worth it in the end to help these people and to seek justice and to speak for people that can't speak for themselves. But I know there's more out there, especially in Southern Colorado. It seems we have a rash of this kind of stuff going on, bodies being found and that kind of stuff. So, but I'm going to be there, man. I'm not going to be deterred. I'm going to do what I can to help in these cases. And I look forward to going to Salida one more time too, to help, with the Suzanne Morphew case and covering a couple of things that we've been wanting to cover for several months now, Dusty. So
yeah, absolutely. And we, gosh, I wish we could all go together. I know that's not possible at the moment, but one of these days, all three of us are going to be on one of these trips together and have each other's backs and be able to figure some of it, put our heads together. How many years has it been since we all been in the same place?
Oh, it's been
probably
a while.
Like 30 something. I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw Chappy in person. So.
No, it's been a while.
Yeah. I don't, if you can't remember, it's been too long. So.
Yep.
It's been a long time. And I'll tell you what, when I picked Chappy up from his house and we drove to Colorado, it was an amazing trip, wasn't it, Chappy?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was great to reconnect with you. And like we were saying before we came on the show, when we were saying backstage, this is not something that just happens, man. It's not something that happens by chance. And I'm so grateful for Dusty and for Chappy and this journey that we're on. And I'm just so grateful for each of you, for everything that you're doing, for these complete strangers. You know, you have that servant's heart, and you have that desire to get out there and to seek answers and to seek justice. And I'm not alone in this. Like, I got Chappy and I got Dusty. You guys feel that same passion. And I just wanted to express publicly how much I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, but that's why I want us to all get together. I just imagine how unstoppable it would be if we were all out there hitting the ground together. One of these days, we're going to make that a reality. I wanted to say hi to Electronic Medium. I like watching her stuff, and I saw her telling people to give us a thumbs up. So she's an Arizona person too, so that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Chappy, I know you had a thought there, but I know we've been on here for almost 2 hours now. It doesn't seem possible. This 2 hours went by fast, and I'm just so grateful for this discussion that we had. We talked a little bit about the Nick Cordova case. We brought on Alicia Cordova. She gave us an update on what's going on in her life. We're excited about getting back, diving deep into that case and helping out wherever we can to find answers for Alicia. We talked a little bit about the Suzanne Morphew case, and also we talked about these new developments happening in Southern Colorado with this psycho named Psycho. So that's kind of a recap, but I think we should probably start wrapping it up here, guys. I just want to say how grateful I am for everybody who stuck with us for almost 2 hours tonight. We got almost 1,000 people in the chat, and you guys are terrific. We say it a lot, but thank you so much for being here tonight, for the great discussion that we had, and for your love and your support, and for everything that you guys do for us. It's just overwhelming. I can't even begin to describe how grateful we are. So with that, I'm going to say thank you guys so much for being here, and have a wonderful night. Chappy, I give it to you.
With all the love in my heart, guys, thank you for everything that you do for this community.
Dusty?
Awesome. Yeah, I want to thank everybody too, because it's been really cool to get your messages. I get a lot of them, and I don't have time to respond to them. We've got my daughter as our intern, and she's doing a great job. So if you see a message saying thank you, and I'll forward it, that's from her. And she's forwarding us stuff. She's doing a really good job. So we're trying to get more organized, but I do see the stuff y'all write, and it means a lot to me. I got some really special messages today after I wrote that thing about the drug addiction stuff. And I got some really neat messages about people's family members recovering. So that makes me really happy to get that kind of stuff, and I really appreciate it. One more thing I want to mention is I'm getting a lot of information from different cases, like, for instance, the Delphi case, and really interesting stuff. And I'll be sharing some of that soon in the 321 report. And I want to give one shout out to Gonzo from Real Gon Media. He contacted me yesterday. He wants to meet up with Tyson in Colorado, and it makes my heart happy because I like what he's doing. He reminds me a lot of Tyson, you know, and they have the same kind of energy and stuff, and that makes me happy. So even though I didn't respond back to your last message, Gonzo, know that I forward that stuff to Tyson, and he's going to contact you. So.
Well, Gonzo, I look forward to meeting you as well. Let's put our boots on the ground and do some good for Suzanne Morphew. And if you're able to go to the Sanford area with me, let's go down there and see what kind of trouble we can get into with finding out what's going on with this psycho guy. But Dusty, I wanted to bring this up real quick. This Cat H, thank you for the donation, Cat. Tyson, for food and gas. Be safe, keep hydrated, watch your breathing. One thing I want to say real quick, guys, because I had a lot of people that were concerned about my breathing. I am breathing just fine, but when I made that video the other day, I had to run down to the office to clock in and run back to my classroom real quick. So I was out of breath when I got there. So everybody was worried. Everybody was worried that it was COVID, but it really wasn't, guys. I'm doing okay. I feel great. I haven't had any episodes with my breathing since, but thank you guys so much. Like, this is a perfect example right here, Chappy, of the love that we get. Not only is Kat giving us a $19.99 donation, but she's also a member of our channel. And this is just a perfect example of the love that we get from our subscribers and people out there in our community. And I can't thank you guys enough for your love and your support and just your dedication in helping to solve these cases. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate all of you. Talk to you next time.
Hope you all have a great night. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.